Welcome to A Toast to Truths. This is where I share the mental, financial, and emotional frustrations of being an entrepreneur. This is season 9, episode 8, Struggle with Your Own Event. So, this is going to be a solo episode because we're talking about the real struggles of entrepreneurship. And so, let me be completely transparent and completely open and honest with people. In this episode, we've had 7 amazing episodes so far, so let me talk about a struggle that I have. So, before we do that, let's hop into this week's question. How do you cope with facing the reality of things not working? So, I this has been a very long summer. I had the idea to do a blog conference, another one, my third one, last year. I just couldn't put all the pieces together. And to be open, honest, transparent, I wanted to do it to prove that I could do it by myself, that I didn't need anyone else. I didn't need to collaborate, a group, or anything with anyone else. So that's why I wanted to do it. Last year, it didn't work out. There was a whole lot of other things, and that was also about October. That's when I started working with Danica from episode 2 to really help me get my ish together. I realized that I needed to work on me in order for anything else to manifest into something successful, into something rewarding, into something satisfying. So this year is my sabbatical year. I'm taking a break from other people's BS and just doing my thing to really replenish, recharge, refresh myself, refocus on what I need to do. And with that being said, I think it was like April. I woke up one Sunday and like an hour straight, I wrote out a whole plan for a blog conference. And I felt God was giving me this vision to fulfill. So I immediately started reaching out to people, doing things, and getting the ball rolling. I thought I had a venue secured. I didn't, and didn't really get the final no, there's not going to be a venue until maybe the end of July. So, in that process, we weren't really able to sell tickets because people wanted a venue. They wanted to know where the event was going to be, and we couldn't say because I didn't have permission to say where the other place was. And long story short, no venue. So then I had to scramble. Shout out to Lisa. She was episode 5 of this season. She like jumped in and given me so much help. So shout out to Lisa Carey for that. But anyway, we were trying to scramble and get another venue sponsor, and some people were taking too long. I finally found a space, but I was going to have to pay for it, but it was in my budget. I just needed to wait a whole week in order to get money from a client to pay for that. So, long story short, we did end up getting a venue. But in the process, that was about 3 months of not selling tickets because we did not have 100% yes on a venue. I had posted something on Facebook, and my one of my biz besties, aka my attorney, Rujade, she was in, I believe it was season 6. I'll link up her episode. She was actually one of my top 10 episodes. But anyway, so Rujade texted me and was like, "Girl, what's going on?" And I told her the situation, and she was like, "Did you have a contract?" She's an attorney. I said, "No, we didn't have a contract because they were still waiting on their paperwork, blah, blah, blah." So I said, I'm not mad about the situation. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm not even mad at myself. It's a lesson learned. It is what it is, right? So going back to our question real quick, how do you cope with facing the reality of things not working? Luckily for me, like I said, I've gone through the process of working on myself. So I had a very calm. I was like, okay, let's sit down. Let me pray. Let me think about it. Let me start doing work. I'm reaching out all over the city of Houston trying to find another venue. I'm like, the city is too beep, beep, beep big for me not to have a venue that fits what I want it to do in my price range in an area that I feel is a good part of town. Like, just all these things. I found one. There's only one hitch to it, but I said people could get over that one little hitch because everything else is what I was looking for, because that's going to set the tone and the atmosphere of the mindset that I want for this particular event. So you're not going to get 100% of the things you want when you're looking for a venue anyway. So so the venue is secure, and then that gave us like a month to get everything together. So at this recording, I'm actually recording this before we had to kind of launch into our more aggressive, let's get it together, let's, push and try to sell these tickets. I'm sharing and saying all this to say that there are sometimes you're doing your own thing. Like, I'm an event blogger, and I struggled with this event of mine in 2019. I've never had a problem getting an event. Like, I talked to my bestie Vanessa, I talked to my mom, I talked to everybody. I was like, I've never had a problem getting an event, either sponsored or otherwise. Like, I've never had a problem. So this was a new challenge for me. This was something I had to really sit down and get it together. And I did not crumble. I did not say, forget it, cancel the event, I'm not doing it. One reason I wanted to do it because I'm like, I want to see it through. Another reason I wanted to keep doing it because I was like, I'm not going to give anybody the satisfaction of saying, oh, look, her event failed. Then I had to rethink how I thought about that. This event is not even about me. This event is for the people who are coming, because everybody that I handpicked to be part of this event has resources, they have knowledge, they have expertise, they have positioned themselves, they're making money, they are doing extremely well in their field, in their industry, in their niche, and I want people to learn from them so that you can get paid. So this event is not even about me. This event is for the attendees. This event is so that other people get money doing what it is they actually want to do, doing the things that they love to do. They just may not know the structure, the framework, the organization of how to do it, but they want to. So they just need some help, right? So I had to get out of the ego. I had to get out of my pride and remember who this event is for. It's not for me, it's not about me, because I know how to get paid. I know how to do what I need to do, but I need to create an opportunity for other people to learn that as well. So with that being said, I shifted my thinking, buckle down, and continue to find a space. And one evening, late at night, I'm just scrolling on Facebook, and this person I'm connected to on Facebook, we don't really know each other, but someone on my social media squad is connected to her, and I guess she sent me a friend request, and she posted the venue. And I looked at the pictures and I was like, oh wow, like this is really nice. And I just saved it, in your bookmarks on Facebook. And I was like, I'll just call the next day because it was late. It was really late. So the next day I called and I talked to the person over it, and we talked, and he wanted to make sure that that date was open. And he said, I'll call you right back. Didn't think anything of it. He did call me back. And he said, it's open, you can have it. And we talked and we discussed. And I told him, yes, I can pay in full. This is when I can pay. And so, we handled the details. Number one, customer service was good. He answered the phone. He said, let me check. He checked, and then he came right back. So I was like, first of all, stellar customer service, right? Stellar customer service. And I'm going to link up in the show notes the information for the venue. The only, anyway, information will be in the show notes for the venue. So customer service, amazing. The event itself, oh my God, I just really love the colorfulness of it and the uniqueness of the space. And he was like, do you want breakout rooms or anything? I was like, no, one big room is fine. They had tables in there. It could seat up to 140 people. They had like 140 chairs. So I was like, it was perfect. It was perfect, perfect venue. So anyway, I'm like, great. Whew. The last thing that needed to be done, which should have been the first thing, was done. In the process, I learned a lot of like what I needed to do better, what I could have done differently, how amazing my entire team is, how together my entire team is, and how I'm blessed to be able to work with the best team I've ever worked with on anything when it comes to blogging. So shout out to the social media squad, shout out to the speakers, shout out to Lisa, shout out to our sponsors, Houston Catering Concepts and Talk Black Radio. Thank you so much to everyone who, came on board for this inaugural event and really wanted to help out in some type of way to be part of it and to provide a richness to the people who will be coming to the event. So thank you to everyone. But how have I been able to like really cope with this? I haven't stressed out. I have not panicked. I've slept through the night. Like I've been good. I've been able to cope because I had been preparing myself since October of shifting my way of thinking, of removing toxicity, taking out negative. Let me give a caveat. I know I continue to speak about one particular situation. I'm not upset about that situation anymore. I'm more sad and disappointed in that particular situation. I'm sad because I wanted to create something to help people, and other people wanted to be on the same level as me without realizing I wasn't on a level. I was doing what God told me to do. I'm disappointed because my entire family invested into that organization. My sister, my mother, my brother, they gave money for that organization to exist. So I'm disappointed that my family's contribution now I don't even know what to say about it. But so I'm sad and disappointed in that retrospect. I also speak about it because I've heard a lot of other people who have come to me say they've been in similar situations and they just didn't know how to handle it, and they were so heartbroken that a lot of them stopped doing business, period. Like they just quit. And I'm like, you can't give up just because someone else kind of came into your space and try to take it away from you. Sometimes you gotta let people have it and then let other people realize that they weren't all who they said they were. Like results manifest. And if you say you're good at something and there's no results to show that you're actually good at something, then you're just all talk. Or you wanted something so bad that did not ever belong to you that now people are starting to see, like, okay, maybe you should have stayed in your role. Like my pastor was saying, some people need to understand they're going to be an excellent number two. Everyone can't be a number one. I've tried to be a number two many times, but that's not the role God gave me. I'm a number one. I'm a leader. I need to own it, and I do. Some people are excellent number twos, and you need to know that. You are the Steve Wozniak, and you need to own that. And so when you don't own that you are a number two and you try to become a number one, it's not always going to work out in your favor because you may be smiling and thinking that you're doing a great job, but the people you're supposedly leading, they don't think that. They're disillusioned, they're upset, they're sad, they're frustrated, and they're going to go and talk to someone else. Because I've received messages, that some people are just not happy with directions of organizations they're in when leadership change. They're to the point where they're like, they don't even want anyone to know they're associated or they were associated. And so that's kind of very disheartening in my mind because you joined that organization for a reason. And now the sheer fact that you don't want people to know you were part of it because of change in leadership, that says a lot. So I know this is a caveat, but it makes sense. I wanted to create this event last year to prove I didn't need those people, right? And I didn't have it. Now I have the event, I'm doing the work, everything's in place, finally venues in place. And so we just got to sell tickets, right? But in the process, on the outside, it looks like I'm struggling. Oh, you know what? They probably checking, people are probably checking. She ain't sold no tickets, all this. Okay, so what? I haven't sold any tickets. However, the plan, the strategy, everything's in place. Now that we have the venue, that was the last piece of the puzzle. Now all we have to do is execute. But in the process, in the meantime, there was no sitting on my laurels. There was no sitting on my behind. There was no me yelling and fussing and saying what should have, could have happened with my team. I said, okay, this is what we can do. Here's some suggestions. Here's some ideas. Just kind of get things going. They created their own ideas. I'm like, this team is amazing. They're not sitting around waiting for instruction. They're like, let me see what I can do. And they're doing it, and they're offering, and they're helping, and they're suggesting. So in the meantime, the work that no one is seeing, what Chris and I talked about in last week's episode, the work that no one is seeing is being done. So when we are able, remember at this recording, we haven't put the venue out yet. So I'm recording this before we start the process, and I'm going to do a part 2 of this, which will be the last episode of this season, where I kind of say this is everything that kind of happened to get us to where we are. So that will come out actually a couple of days before the event itself. So you'll kind of see, how everything happened, if the strategy works and how it worked and all that stuff. So anyway, so we're doing work. It's not like nothing is happening behind the scenes. I'm continuing to think of ideas and to implement and to create and to reach out and to just make sure that I can have a product, have an event that people want to attend. So I've already gotten a lot of feedback, positive feedback. A lot of the people on the team have. It's just the one missing piece was the venue. So, yeah, that was I guess you could say a struggle. That was something that could have deterred someone else, that could have stopped someone else, that could have made someone else say, you know what, I'm just going to cancel this event. There's no reason to have it, whatever. I didn't want to do that. I don't think I should do that. I don't think I have to do that. I think that sometimes we have to dig a little deeper. We have to think a little bit more strategic. We have to be more sharp. We have to focus and take away things that aren't going to help us reach our goal. So it is a refining process. So I don't think of it a challenge in a bad way. It's more of a refining process of, you may have jumped the gun because someone posted, sometimes you're given a vision, but you're not supposed to implement it immediately, right? Well, I didn't get that memo until, a few weeks before this recording. So I was like, all right, we're already knee deep in this. We're not going to change it. We're just going to go through it, and I'm going to continue to pray, and we'll just go with wherever God leads us on this journey. So I'm not frustrated. I'm not upset about the process. It has helped me really get better and really see and understand what it is I want to do, not just with the event, but as a whole for my blog. Also in the process, a lot of other things have happened with clients and blogs and all kind of stuff. So it's really helped me say, hey, Bernetta, this is a good time for you to start really evaluating and really understanding and refining the tools and the processes of what you want to do, the systems. I also was part of a design and launch challenge. I didn't start it. I saved everything. And at the recording of this, I decided I wanted to do the challenge by myself, to really sit down and go through everything because, yeah, it was a long week, the week of the challenge, and I just needed to focus on getting the venue before I started doing anything else. So anyway, I'm going to do that challenge because I have all the material, watch the videos, go through the workbooks and everything that April put together, and really sit down, because what I want to do is create what's going to benefit people, what's going to help people make money, what's going to really help people own their uniqueness, their tap into their zone of genius. So yeah, I may have struggled, quote unquote, struggled with my event, the Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp this summer, but there was so much more I learned in the process behind the scenes, just evaluating what was happening with how things were taking place, because this is the biggest event I've ever tried to do on my own anyway. I've never wanted to do an event this big, but this was something that I felt I received a vision, and I was like, sure, why not? why do I have to shrink myself? Why do I have to keep doing small things because it makes other people feel good or it is something I can completely control? I need to step it up. I need to stretch myself, stretch my skills, push myself. Because if I continue to do small events, 25 people and under, I mean, the largest event I had before this was like over 50 people, and that was with the group. But that's still not a big event, and I need to push myself so that I can polish skills that I may not use on a regular basis, that I can think of new strategies that will help elevate the experience of the event for people who come. There's a lot that I need to do, that I could do, that I want to do when it comes to this particular event, and not just the event with my blog. And in the process of all of this happening, I'm also realizing God is stripping things away from me, taking things away from me. So I am freeing myself of expectations, burdens, responsibilities, things, thoughts that I think I should have done, could have done, would have done. And it's allowing me to really focus in on what I should be doing, because that's going to be the vessel of me being able to help other people. So, yes, there are things that I've learned in this process on this journey when it comes to putting this event together. And not having a venue really gave me a test. It gave me a test of my faith. It gave me a test of my willpower. It gave me a test of my emotions. And I passed. I'm proud of myself. I passed. I did not freak out. I did not, throw a tantrum. I did not say I quit, I give up. I didn't stop myself from moving forward with this. I had to maybe take detours, go over obstacles, get through roadblocks, whatever. I did it. I'm doing it, and it will be done. And so it's one of those life moments that allows you to see how strong you truly are when it comes to doing the things that you want to do. Because if you want to do something and the moment a challenge pops up and you give up, did you really want to do it? Or why was the reason you wanted to do it? Like I said, last year I had, egotistical, prideful reasons on why I wanted to have a conference, and that's why it didn't happen last year. This year, my focus is on the attendees, and I did have to remind myself that this is about the attendees. This is not about your pride, Vernetta. This is not about your ego, Vernetta. Like, this is not about you, Vernetta. And I needed to remind myself of that. And yeah, this is a very, I've been real honest this season, from talking about going to food pantries or being homeless or whatever. I don't care. I don't. I don't care. I want you to understand that if you want something, you're not going to let a life temporary moment stop you from moving forward. I've always said I'm going to make it. Like, yeah, my collection of yeses have taken me through some things that have refined me as a person, that has strengthened my character, that has solidified my integrity, but it has never stopped me from moving forward. So with that, we're going to take a sip and then we will be right back.
Houston Catering Concepts is a full-service catering company in Houston, Texas. They are looking forward to catering your next event or family celebration. You can choose from Mexican, I love Mexican, Persian, barbecue, and more. Oh, and they are the food sponsor for Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp. Contact them today by phone 832-594-7296 or email orders with an S at houstoncatering.com. Mark your calendars. September 19th is the Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp. It's a one-day conference helping you understand the operational side of being an influencer so you make more money. Throughout the day, you'll learn different strategies you can add to your action plan. And that action plan is what you will implement when you leave. Make sure you go to gum.co /getmepaid19 to get your ticket today. No matter what, the freedom of waking up and not stressing out about money, paying your bills, getting things done, especially for your blog, is indescribable. And we want you to have that feeling too. So make sure you go to gum.co /getmepaid19 to get your ticket.
Okay, so we're back from break. And before we were talking about how things can happen, but it didn't stop. It shouldn't stop you. If you really want something, then it shouldn't stop you. So for over the past 8 seasons, this podcast has really been dedicated to entrepreneurship, but I don't see myself as an entrepreneur anymore. I think this is the first time I'm publicly really saying it. I'm a blogger, I'm a content creator, I'm an influencer. I want to own that. I want to stay in that space. I want to continue to build my authority, my credibility in that space. Being an entrepreneur is hard. Like, no, this podcast is not going to kind of shift or anything. I'm still going to share, the mental, emotional, and financial frustrations. I don't know, season 10, I may say, of being a blogger and influencer. Who knows? But it's the same thing. It's just different titles, right? But I don't see myself as an entrepreneur in the traditional sense because that's not what my journey, my vision, what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't see that. I am a blogger. And when I started Women Are Game Changers September 17th, 2011, I said, I'm going to turn this blog into something I make money from. And guess what I did? I turned that blog into something I made money from. I sold it. When I started Fusion Tour, I said, when I first started it, it was just a way for me to kind of build relationships with people in a controlled environment in which I control it. As an introvert, networking events intimidated me, they overwhelmed me, they brought me anxiety. But then Fusion took off. But because I didn't have a vision or a thought for it, it didn't continue. I would love to sell it. So if you want to buy it, it's up for sale. But anyway, I created a structure that people craved. Even when, a year or two after I stopped doing it, people were still like, so when are you coming back? When are you coming back? Because the structure was there. I could create a good structure of an event, but I didn't have a vision to grow Fusion into what it could possibly be. Maybe someone listening to this has a vision for Fusion. I don't know. But that's not something I saw building a business around, right? When I had the Truth Confidant, I wanted it to be successful. I think in my mind, didn't truly believe it. So, because I didn't truly believe it, I had that seed of doubt and fear, and that doubt and fear manifested to a business that didn't thrive for me. However, it could thrive for someone else. Again, I would love to sell that business because all the stuff's in place. It may have been something I needed to create for someone else who had the vision but is not sure how to create it, but they could take it and thrive with it, right? So some things we do, some things we create may not thrive for us. It may thrive for someone else, right? Who knows how this conference is going to go? Who knows how the Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp is going to go? Is it going to thrive for me? Lord willing, it will. If it doesn't, I'm not going to be embarrassed. This is the cost of doing business. If you only do things you think will be successful, you will never move forward because most things you do as an entrepreneur or as a blogger who's building a path to wealth, a blogger who's building a path to creating avenues for money, everything you do is not going to succeed. It's not going to have a good how can I say it, outcome. And you have to be okay. You have to know what to do when something doesn't go the way you wanted it or the way you planned it, how to handle yourself. Again, there have been situations in the past where some people may not like how I have handled things, and it's not about how I see you thinking I should have handled a situation. Am I proud of myself, of the behavior or the way that I handle a situation? That's all that matters. Was my integrity still intact? And every single time I can say, yes, my integrity was still intact. You may not have liked my antics, but I never lied and I never said or did anything that could not be verified as truthful. So, again, at the end of the day, my character, my integrity are things that I'm very proud of because, they can't be questioned. If someone can question it, they have to be able to prove it. And if you can't prove it, then you're just upset I spoke the truth when it was your turn to hear the truth and it was something you didn't want to hear. Going back to this topic, I don't know what's going to happen with this event. Like I said, I'm recording it before we kind of do our 30-day push with the event. I don't know what's going to happen. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to be ashamed. I'm not going to be embarrassed. I took a big project, the biggest project I've ever done, and I worked the plan that I had and I did everything that I possibly could. I can't say that anything could have been different or I would have wanted anything to be different if things were different. I don't think I would have been able to learn certain things about myself and learn certain things about where I wanted my blog to go, learn certain things about the services I no longer wanted to do. There was a lot that I've learned during this process of putting this event together. And I also realized how many people jumped on board to help and support without really seeing the full vision for itself, right? So it also showed me that there are people who believe in me. All I have to say is I'm going to do something, and there are going to be people who believe in me and who are going to show up and show out and support. There are um, situations that will challenge me, that will make me rethink and refine and refocus. That's okay. During all of this, I have not been stressed out. I've been a little like, whew, let me take a moment, let me breathe, let me, recenter myself, let me not um, make this bigger than it is. It's just a venue. That is it. I can find a venue. This is Houston. I should be able to find a venue. Like, yes, I may have been like, "Ugh, I cannot believe I cannot find a venue in this city." Okay, that has happened. It's not like I've been zen this whole time. But as far as how I probably would have reacted a year ago, literally 12 months ago, is a completely different way than how I handled it now. So, all this inner work that I have been doing that I talked about when Stephanie was on, she was on this season, she was episode 6. Anyway, so all this inner work that I have been doing has really, truly helped in ways that I never imagined. Like, even though I created the Truth Confidant and I understood the skills and the process of journaling, it wasn't until this year that it really started paying off, that I really started focusing and being more intentional and making sure that when a negative thought, I remove it. I don't let the negative thought fester. I don't let the negative thought take root. So, when it came to this event, I didn't let negative thoughts. I didn't let what I thought other people's perception would be of how they may be seeing how things are going with this event. I mean, it's a public event. You can watch how we're sharing online. You can go every day and click the link and check if tickets are being sold. This is not something that's hidden or secret. It's just not. So yeah, you could have checked. And if I had allowed what I thought other people were doing or seeing or knowing or whatever when it came to this event, I wouldn't be here right now recording this episode. Struggle with your own event. I wouldn't be so transparent and open about the fact that I'm an event blogger and my event was kicking my behind this summer. If I cared so much about what other people thought, I would not have continued doing this event. I would have quit. And for those of you who are listening, I want you to think about it. I want you to think about all these expectations and responsibilities and roles and thoughts you have that you think other people have of you. How is that taking you away from doing what it is you should, could, or want to do with your business, with your blog? Because if you're allowing these other thoughts to come in, and you're allowing these other thoughts to take over, and you're allowing these other thoughts to decide what should be done, then you're not in control of yourself. You're not in control of your business or your blog. And that is why you probably are frustrated. And that's probably why you aren't making money, because you have allowed other people's thoughts to take root in your mind, and you are now moving based on those thoughts. You can't do that. You have to be in control of your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, there are days where you're just like, oh man, like I really need something to happen. I really need something to shift and break in my direction that's going to benefit me. Yeah, you're going to have those thoughts, but don't let those thoughts take over to the point where you're like, woe is me, I deserve better than this, I want better than this, but then you don't get up and go get better than that. I could have just stopped, and I keep saying it, but I needed to click for people. I could have just said, you know what, I give up on all of this. All of this. It just sucks. I hate it. I don't want to do it anymore. I could have done that. Or I could have done what I did. Get on Google and start Googling events. Get on Instagram, event venues. Get on Instagram, start going through the search, what is it, hashtag or whatever, to find venue spaces. Every day I Google it. Every day I send out emails. Every day, until I scrolled that one evening on Facebook, saw that, saved it, called the next day. That's consistency. That's what Chris and I were talking about last week. That was consistency. That was determination. That was, I need a venue. So that means, Vernetta, get up off your butt and get out there and find a venue. Call people, email people, tag people, DM people, message people. Like, I messaged Facebook friends that I knew who had spaces. Some of them didn't, are no longer doing renting of their space. It was just a lot. So in that process, there were a lot of no's. This won't work. This can't do it. It was just, so it could get frustrated. It could have gotten disheartening. It could have gotten to the point where I'm like, why bother? Why should I even try to do this? It just seems like the universe is conspiring against me to not allow me to do what it is I want to do. Or I can say, okay, there is this perfect venue space out there for me, and I just haven't looked in all the right places to find it. With your business, these may not be the clients or customers for me. I just haven't looked in the right pools of people to find them. This may not be the right service or product for me. I just haven't taken the time to sit myself down, really go through start to finish of seeing if this service is something of interest, if it's my skill set, is something I know I can market, or I can find the person to help me market it. Like, sometimes we just don't sit down long enough to really see if things are going to pan out, because we have one hiccup, we get a few no's, and then we stop doing it. Okay, then go to someone else, go do something else. I know someone suggests that they do. something just to bring in some cash flow. They got a few no's and they stopped. And I'm like, the plan is good. You're asking people who are used to you getting things for free. So, of course, they're going to say no, they don't want to pay for it. You have to go outside of your circle and you have to find people who will give you a yes. It may take a minute, okay? And if you're not 100% clear on what it is you do, then it's going to take a long minute because people aren't going to buy something they don't know how it's going to fit into their lives, how it's going to benefit them. So, as a paid event blogger, I'm constantly making sure that I'm clarifying my message or sending out a clear message. That's more accurate. That I'm sending out a clear message that people understand. I'm going to help hype up your event to the right audience. I don't say target audience anymore. I say the right, because sometimes we go after a specific target because we have that avatar in our head and they're not actually going to be the ones to buy from us. It is a right group of people who are going to buy from us who are not going to look anything like your avatar. That is something I learned. So you can't sit there and think that my target audience is not buying from me. I don't know what the problem is. The problem is your target audience may not want that solution to their problem. But there's another audience that is seeking that solution, and you two just haven't found each other. Okay, so yeah, it's I like I said, it's a lot that I have done with the inner work to help me really get into a different mindset of how things operate. So as a paid event blogger, I hype up your event. So if I'm covering your event, that means think of Essence Fest. I'm making sure that it is all over social media during, so people remember, like, dang, I need to make sure I buy a ticket to the next one. Or I bring you visibility to the right audience leading up to it. The event marketing, I will fulfill the people who've already reached out and the contracts and everything. I will fulfill that, but as far as moving forward, that will probably only be offered if I really see a great advantage of me taking that client. But other than that, no. So yeah, those are services. I also have a free training. It was a paid training. I wasn't promoting it. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I wasn't promoting it. I didn't create a funnel for it. I didn't do anything with it. So I turned it into a free. Well, I re-shot the whole video and I turned it into a free training. So I'm going to link that up into the show notes. So yeah, that was something else I learned in the process of this. In this journey for this event. That was something else I learned. So now you guys have a free product with me. And that way you get a little taste of what I do, what I can do for you. And then, we can move forward with a consultation or with me providing one of those services. So yeah, I am happy. I am proud of myself that I stuck through it and I'm going to continue to stick through it. I don't see how this can't turn out and bless someone. So I'm going to continue to move forward with this event. And again, in the episode 10, in the last episode, I'm going to kind of give a follow up because it'll be a few days before the event takes place. And I'm going to give a follow up on letting you know how the strategy was implemented and what happened with the strategy. But as of right now, I'm proud of myself. I'm happy. I have done what I have in my power, in my wheelhouse to do. I've stretched outside of my wheelhouse. I've done things outside of, well, it didn't work because this was the plan I had. So, like, let me leave it there. No, if I needed to, like I said, refocus, re strategize, whatever, I did it. So yeah, I'm happy with myself. I'm giving myself a pat on the back. I'm giving myself flowers, and you need to do that too. Don't let a challenge bring you to a halt and deter you from doing what you need. Now, yeah, there are going to be some challenges that will knock you on your behind. I have had those, but just don't let those challenges take you out of the game completely unless you were never meant to play in this game. Let me say it again. Don't let a challenge take you out of the game completely unless you were never meant to play in this game. If you don't have the drive, determination, being consistent, being committed, having discipline. You may not need to be a blogger who's out there working to make money, or an influencer out there working to make money, or an entrepreneur out there building a business so you can be a CEO and you can have employees. These are people you are now blessing because you provided a job for them that they could take care of their families. If that's not something you were ever, 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 ever meant to have, then don't do it. Some people jump in thinking entrepreneurship is a easier thing than listening to somebody on a 9 to 5. I I didn't like most of my jobs. Let's be very honest. I didn't like most of my jobs. I had them because I had responsibility, right? My last job that I had, I loved it. I don't think I would have quit anytime soon, right? Or quit when I did. However, I I had no choice. It was long story short, funding was cut, and I just didn't want to go through the rat race of getting cut hours and all this stuff. So I was just like, after 11 years, I'm just going to leave education completely, leave teaching English as a second language completely, and do my blog. But at the same time, everything else in my world was falling apart. We talked about that in episode 6 with Stephanie. And then I kind of was just like, I can't stand anybody. I want to punch everybody in the face. Everybody's just getting on my nerves. That's kind of how the summer went. And then I just was like, I can't do this. Like, I may be a strong person, but I'm not as strong right now. I'm hurting. I need help. And then a lot of people reached out and supported me, and I started working with Danica. And now we're fast forwarding to August while I'm recording this. And here I am, still in my transformation. However, I am not the same person I was a year ago, and I am working to be a better person, make sure my character and integrity stay intact at all times, make sure that I am the best paid event blogger for the clients that hire me, make sure that the visions that I am given, I implement accordingly and I'm obedient with that, and especially making sure that the Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp is everything those attendees need so that when they leave on September 17th, 2019, by October 1st, 2019, they are in position to start making money. Like, I'm not playing games. I'm not here to have this event, to showboat, to put myself on a pedestal. I need everybody making money. Because if everybody's making money, then we can all charge more, right? Because you're now elevating the market when it comes to pricing. We ain't trying to have Walmart bottom rollback prices. We have quality products, services, and events. And so we need to be like a boutique type firm, influencers, bloggers. We need to elevate our prices, but we also need to make sure that our experiences, our customer service, our delivery, the product itself, the service itself, the event itself is of a boutique quality. Okay, so we all know boutiques are going to be one of a kind. You can't find it everywhere, and it's just something that makes people feel good when they put on those clothes from a boutique, right? We want them to feel that way when they have our product or they work with us in a service or a coaching program or whatever, or they attend our event. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna end it. We need to all make money so that we can have our boutique prices because no one should be at these rollback Walmart prices. No, I don't want us to do that. So yeah, that's how we're gonna end. We're gonna get ready to take a sip. Okay, so my takeaway from this episode is don't quit on yourself when you are facing a challenge. Look at that challenge, face it head on, and allow that challenge to stretch and grow you as a person. It doesn't matter what the results are going to be. It's not always about the results per se, if it's going to make you a better person, because next time you do that same thing or something similar, you're going to be even more prepared. So that is, my takeaway from this episode. This has been a Toast to Truth with me, Vernetta R. Freeney. This is season 9, episode 8, and I've shared the consequences that I have encountered, especially when it comes to what other people may deem as embarrassing, but struggling with your own event. So we'll catch you next week for episode 9, and thank you guys for listening.
Go to VernettaRFree.com for the show notes. Make sure you go to VernettaRFree.com /category /podcast.